Hiya, so today I've brought you into my favourite woods. I'm not going to tell you where it is, and we're going to make some wild garlic pesto, which everyone is making at the moment. So it's a very easy process. We need wild garlic. We have acres and acres and acres of this here. We need some pine nuts. Actually, they don't have to be pine nuts. You can use hazelnuts or whatever kind of nuts you like, or if you're nut allergic, don't use any at all. Got a little bit of salt and some pepper. Lots of recipes you'll see for wild garlic also include olive oil. I don't use oil because this is so juicy that you don't actually need any other liquid to go with it. So I'll pick some and then I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so we've come back from the woods and I'm going to show you how to use wild garlic, how to process it, and any other questions we might have in our minds about wild garlic. So first off, we've got a lovely big tub full there, absolutely beautiful. I wanted to show you especially the buds here because these are what turn into the flowers, and if I just open this up a little bit, you'll see what is going to happen in the woods in a couple of weeks' time, because you'll see lots and lots and lots of these little white flowers, and often it's the sight of these flowers that tells people it's wild garlic more than anything else. But it's also the hottest part of the plant and probably my favourite. Oh, it's so lovely. Anyway, so what I'm going to do to start off with is just give these a little bit of a shake. And here's some I bought earlier. We've got some just a bit of kitchen paper really, because we don't want them to be too soggy. A little bit of moistness is fine, but just not too soggy. So then, very simple, all we need to do is bundle them up in our hands. I'd love to be able to chop like a chef, but I can't. This is my not very chefy way of chopping wild garlic. Gordon Ramsay, don't eat your heart out yet. Mind you, I bet Gordon Ramsay doesn't know where the wild garlic grows in the Brecon Beacons, but we do. So, scrunchy. This is really very, very juicy. Lots of people put their wild garlic paste or pesto into jars, where you can store it in the fridge quite happily, or you can, without putting oil on, you can put these in freezer trays and just put a little water on top and then freeze them, and they will stay. They'll stay happily right through the whole winter to the following year, and they're really good to kind of pop into soups and stews and things like that when you want a bit more oomph. Lots of people making pesto tend to use oil. I don't. If you have wild leaves and oil, you do have a very tiny little danger of botulism. That's not going to happen if you eat the garlic fresh. So you'd want to keep it for no more than 2 weeks really. If you refrigerate it, that's not a problem. So I'm not trying to frighten you, I just want you to know all the facts. So then I'm going to add a little bit of pine nuts, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Again, if you wanted to add cheese, you can. That's completely up to you. And I'm going to try really hard to crush up some of these pine nuts, but I might not do a brilliant job of it. In fact, I'll put a few more in, I think. There we are. You see what I mean about juiciness there? Absolutely lovely. So then, that effectively is your lovely rustic wild garlic pesto. And I think if I was gonna try to make this look really extra pretty, I'd probably put one of those, or maybe two. If I can find, there we are, there's a nice one. A couple of those on top. What do you reckon? Beautiful. Free. Wild and free.
So tell me, Adele, what are the benefits of wild garlic?
Well, there's loads. They don't just need to be about eating it either. So there's lots of vitamins in wild garlic, lots of vitamin C. It really is, it's funny, it's this time of year that we really need our digestive systems to be kicking in and fully functioning. So the entire garlic family are really good for that, and also really good for fighting infections and stuff, which again we tend to get, you know, during seasonal times.
And when would you expect to see wild garlic in the woods
That's
around?
a really good question. Anywhere really, depending on where you are, from the end of January to sometimes middle of June. This year, I would have expected the wild garlic to have been out in flower a couple of weeks ago, but it's always really variable, what with the weather and everything. But generally, it's got quite a long lifetime in the woods. And what happens is, once the leaves start appearing and the flowers start appearing, then the flowers are the best bit after the leaves have started to die down a little bit. And within a couple of weeks, you won't see anything at all. So sort of towards the end of June, beginning of July, you'll go into the woods and you'll think, oh, I'll get a bit of wild garlic, and you'll go around and go, this can't be the same woods, because you just wouldn't even know it had been there.
That's lovely. Thank you ever so much for helping us to make wild garlic today for our Tesco Grow Your Own Feast project.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. That's a wrap. Oh, mind you, there is one other thing I wanted to tell you that I find really lovely. So botanical names of plants are the names that are the same throughout the world. So if we're talking about wild garlic, we'll call it Allium ursinum. Anywhere in the world where there's wild garlic, it's called Allium ursinum. Now, Allium is the species name of all onions, so they belong to the same family, the Allium family. And the ursinum bit is the bit I really like, because ursa is from the bear. So you might see the bear in the night sky, but the reason that it's called bear's garlic is because people believed that in the early spring, the bears would come out of their hibernation and kind of lazily roll over and grab a handful of wild garlic and stuff it in their mouths, and that would kickstart their digestive system and also get them going after a long winter lying in the woods.